So here's what I hope that you take away. Just a few. First, I hope that you get a visibility into your current people, processes, and platforms. So that helps you build an effective team or perhaps improve the opportunities for your existing team. Another takeaway is understanding and overcoming any team gaps that may exist, any weaknesses that are currently in your organization. Perhaps you're going to have an opportunity to think on that for a moment or two as you take away the distraction of your regular work today and think about that, and perhaps then have an opportunity to improve on that. And also right market messaging. You know, the marketing team is working, you're working on marketing, but are you marketing to the right audience? And how do you target that? And then finally, keeping your customer, okay? Promoting brand loyalty by understanding the complete customer journey. And that's so important. That's the key, really, I believe, to this entire presentation. You work so hard to secure this business, you want to keep it, but the business starts at the discovery call of sales. It goes all the way to the end of that customer journey, and how that customer is treated throughout that entire rainbow will demonstrate whether you get referral business, whether you maintain that customer, whether you can grow that customer or client and customer. I use that word interchangeably. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Okay. I'm hopeful that I'm on track with what everybody has showed up for. If there's anything other than this that you'd like to learn or that you thought you would be learning, please don't hesitate to put it. There's a chat opportunity. Just put your questions and anything you may have into the chat. I've asked Matt to monitor that for me, and so that I can just kind of focus on the presentation. And as some of you who may know me know that I'm very technology, that isn't my best friend. So I usually lean on those that are better than me. So thank you, Matt, for taking that for me. So let's start here. I want to first get to know who we are. Let's get to know each other. So who's in the room, right? I know a couple of you. I know a couple of you and what you do, but I really want to understand who's in the room so that I can speak specifically to you, so that I can better serve you in what you've come here to learn. So here's the first question. Jean, can you put it up on the screen for a poll? Okay. So if we were together, right, in a conference room or a boardroom, I would have a show of hands. I'd say, hey, okay, who am I speaking with? Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? So who is in this virtual room, right? Are you a sales leader, manager of people and process, marketing leader of people and process you manage? Are you an individual contributor, or do I have someone else of another responsibility on? And I believe we've got a certain number of seconds for everyone to vote on this, Jean, and you let me know when it's completed.
Everybody but one has responded, so I think we probably have
all right, I think
a pretty
we're
good sample.
Okay, and you know what? Look at that. It's wonderful. It looks like we have an equal number of sales leaders, managers of people and process. We have an equal number of marketing leaders, manager of people and process. That could be that you manage both sales and marketing. Okay, we'll find that out throughout the conversation today together. And then I have several individual contributors. So that's great. Now I understand who's in the room, and I'll try and segment everything that I'm sharing with you to meet your needs. Okay, so we can get rid of the polling. Jean. Okay. All right, so let's get started. How to build an effective sales and marketing team. As I said in the beginning, there's only so many ways, right? It's like a textbook. How do you build a sales and marketing team? But it's really not that easy, right? We've all been in environments, work environments. We've been in network opportunities where we've heard, this isn't working, that isn't working. I don't understand why this isn't working. He has a master's degree in how to lead a team, or she has an MBA and she learned all about how to build a sales and marketing team, and she or he is not really fitting my needs. She's not working in the organization. Well, this is the first question. What are you trying to achieve? And as I said, this is very common. We all know that this is a question we ask every day. This is an opportunity for you to be with no disruption and really think about, okay, you and your position right now for the plethora of individual contributors on this workshop. Think about it. What is it that you're trying to achieve, right? Sales and marketing managers, leaders, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Okay, well, before you can really understand what you're trying to achieve, you have to figure out how, right? And it starts with people. Okay, so you want to sell something, right? Of course, I want to sell this product. Okay, that's what you want to achieve. It's always people first, because they're the ones that are going to do it. So the key is to really look at your existing staff and recognize who the players are, okay? And the way to do that is to really look at your sales funnel, believe it or not. So you're looking at your people, but you're looking at the funnel. So you have the sales funnel of opportunities. Is it working? What's not working? Okay, you're trying to build a funnel. The larger the funnel, the better the opportunity. Michael Donovan, how many times did you and I say that together when we were partnered in an organization? The bigger the funnel, the bigger the opportunity, right? Well, yes, that's true. So are there gaps in that funnel? And who can fill those gaps, right? So are the gaps, you don't have enough qualified leads? How about appointments? Do you have enough appointments booked? And how about marketing? Does the marketing look right? Are you marketing to the right market? That's how you identify the gaps in your funnel. And once you analyze that, that's very important, because you could have an organization, you could have some really great business development representatives or individual contributors, right? But if you don't have the right, perhaps lead qualifiers on the marketing side, well, then the business development person is not going to be successful, and your organization is going to fail. So you really have to balance it out. It starts with people first, okay? Then you look at the individuals and you look at the gaps and you identify, okay, let's make some smart hiring decisions, right? I could have capitalized the word smart, right? Specific, measurable, attainable. We all know that as well, like I said. First thing, evaluate your existing staff. And the way I always did that over the years, managing an organization, I used reverse psychology. And I used to always use cars. I don't know why I used cars. You can use football teams. You can use whatever you want. But, and maybe I guess on behalf of the Buffalo Bills, we should use football teams. So I think about the NFL and a number of teams. And, perhaps Matt, you're the Buffalo Bills, and Dan Wolf, you're the, I don't know, New Orleans. And, Pat, you can be the New England Patriots, right? And you all have, I guess we'd call that fantasy football, right? With intelligence, you pick who you're missing to create this amazing team that's going to win the Super Bowl. The same goes with hiring smart. That's it. Identify, because, I truly believe, I always used to say, I've overseen human resources for 30 years. I had an small HR consulting firm serving Western New York and Rochester for about 7 years in my past. And I always said, and I truly believe it till this day, if you treat your people well, they will naturally treat you well. But what does that mean? Treating them well is identifying their strengths and building on those strengths for them to be successful. Because if your human capital is successful, your business will naturally be successful. Human capital is the most important thing. If you take care of your people, they will naturally take care of you. I've said that a million times over the last 30 years. So with that, okay, you look at your existing staff, you identify, okay, Susie and Joey are great lead qualifiers. I need to move them into this area, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? You know the rest. And then once you do that, you identify, okay, what is it that we don't have? And you have to develop a right recruitment strategy. And this is where organizations fail, okay, most often, because they think they can hire, and if you think about it, they may have excellent sales skills, but do they have HR skills, right? So I always say, do what you do best, and then find someone else that does what you do not do best, so that whatever you need, you receive. So make sure in your recruitment strategy, whoever you're going to put in charge of hiring, make certain that that individual or individuals have the knowledge necessary, not only of the 101 of hiring, okay, and recruiting, but also they know your business, okay? They have a good idea of what your business is, and they could sit in that chair and be able to act as if they were doing that job. You know, anyone can say they're a recruiter. There are a million staffing agencies out there, right? We all know that. But until you find someone who really wants to meet you where you are and understand who you are and wants to partner with achieving that goal, that's how you make a smart, that's part of your smart recruitment strategy. So that's important. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, so now that you have that understood, what you need is to set some realistic goals. My marketing strategic gentleman who helped me put this together, I love that little graphic. They've got masks on everything now. On one hand, it's funny. On the other hand, I'm so sick of them. I'm certain we all are on the page. But so anyway, set realistic goals. Identify your strength, okay? And I don't mean just your team strength. Look at your entire organization structure budget, okay? Here's your structure. This is what you have. I only have so much money. So now through your funnel gap analysis, you've identified, okay, I need more lead qualifiers. I need someone to do this. I need whatever it is, okay? That's how you, segment the percentage of your total budget. You know, so often when I consult sales and business organizations, sales and marketing organizations and businesses, forgive me, you know, they'll say, oh, I need to hire a VP of sales. Okay, why? Well, because he's just going to know everything. She's just going to know everything. They're going to be able to get me business in. We know that's not true, okay? You have to have an entire team because it doesn't take just one person. And if it does, the organization has to be sized so that one person is enough, okay? So, and that's where I'm talking about staff and process company bandwidth. Identify what you need in order to be successful. You know, the organization structure may sit where we believe in this department, we need 5 people. We need 500 people, whatever it is. Well, how did you get to that determination? Look at historical measures. How was the organization successful before? How many people did it take? What technology did you use? Okay, look at the entire bandwidth of that company and identify, is that going to suit us today? Okay, history is good. We learn on it. We learn from it, but we have to build on it. And we know today it's incredibly different. We're going to talk about that. Also, like I said, target audience. Okay, you want to sell to everybody. I've been in organizations where they have said to their sales executives, the world is your oyster. Go ahead. You have the whole country. You have the whole world. Or you have all of Western New York. Okay, what does that mean? You know, where am I going after? What, you know, where will we make the most money from a sales perspective, right? Money is a motivator. It's not the ultimate, but it is a motivator, right? Where will I make the most money? Where will my company be best served? Okay. And if that is where I'm going to make the most money, it would naturally lend itself to that's the right industry I should be focusing on. Okay. So that's the key, is to really understand your audience, target them. And I've tried very hard. I'm still not 100% there, but I have tried to eliminate the word prospect from my vocabulary. Because you know what, if they're a prospect, that means they're not sure, okay? That means that you're going after them, but you have no idea whether they're gonna be your customer. You desire them to be your customer. And if you can, you know, I've had the blessing of participating in so many professional development opportunities, from Tony Robbins to Bloom, and I'm not throwing names around there for anything other than everyone says the same thing. Every motivational speaker will say the same thing. You have to live your life like you've already received it, right? Like you've already been successful. So prospect does not does not equal success. But if you change it, shifting words are so important. And from a sales perspective, it's so important because you can have so many days where you're discouraged. So the use of right words, I can't emphasize enough either. So they're not your prospect. They're your future buyer. They might not know it yet. And your job is to do what? Meet them where they are, educate them, and then solve their problem, right? Solution sell. Right? So they're your future buyer. They're already your partner. They just don't know it yet. And you haven't gotten them there yet. And I say that also from a marketing perspective, think like you're not prospecting. Okay. You are talking to your buyer. It changes everything. Okay. Also, it's so important to look at your revenue sales cycle. Is it long? Is it short? And the reason why that's so important is because if it's short, your strategy is going to be different. Sell, next one, sell, next one, sell, next one. If it's long, you have to identify the right recruitment strategy and the right team and give them enough time to build that to get to the sale. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just going to pause. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to throw them in the chat. Matt, if you see anything there, let me know. If I don't get any questions, I'm going to assume that I'm on target, okay? And I don't like to assume anything. So, but I'm going to make that as an educated assumption. All right. The other thing that is so important is to leverage technology, okay? What are you already paying for, right? We have CRM systems. Some do, some don't. I was talking to a colleague last week. They were putting in HubSpot, right? And they're all excited. And then they were also hiring someone to manage something, a manual process, where after they identified HubSpot has that, they can automate that. So I was able to help them understand it was just a friendship talking. This was not me doing business. It was a colleague of mine. We were chatting. And I said, I believe that's an automation opportunity. And then what she was able to do is use that automation. They're already paying for it. And then those dollars, she was able to, I'm not looking to save Mr. CFO money. I'm not looking to save the company money. I'm looking to reallocate my budget to where it makes best sense for me. So this goes back to how you build an effective sales and marketing team. So automation and artificial intelligence, where can you use that to eliminate some of the manual process? Not to necessarily save money, but to use your existing budget the right way to build an effective team. Okay, next slide. All right. We cannot ignore a pandemic. Oh, amen to that, right? How and where we work has changed. Now, this hasn't started. Working remotely and the hybrid and all the other, all of the other words and LinkedIn learning that's on every, you're sifting through LinkedIn and you see, this is what's going on today. That this really isn't just today. We can't ignore the pandemic, and how we work has changed, but I believe we're building on something that really we've started and years ago, and we're now very successful in very short time because of the history of how we've welcomed remote work over the last 15 years. So let's first get the process. Let's make sure that the process is right, okay? Here's a question. Now, Jean, I believe we have this in the poll. The first question is, what is your current selling method? Is it telephone, Zoom, or other video platform, boardroom, or a combination of both?
Looks like combinations running away with it.
Well, I know it. I'm so, actually I'm surprised by that. So that's very interesting. I'm going to lean into that.
There you go. Okay. There's your results.
Okay. Wow. Okay. We're going to talk about that. And then the next question, Jean. What is your current selling method? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did you get them? There we go. Where does your sales and marketing department reside? Okay. All right. So actually the book, that's terrific. Okay. So it's terrific. So what you're saying is your current selling method is a combination of telephone, Zoom, or any other video platform, boardroom. I did hear that a lot of companies are opened up, right, in Buffalo. That's great. You're still able to, work inside the office when necessary or if necessary. I'm not certain how many guests, clients, customers, vendors, New York is allowing in to their office environments, but I'm excited to see that there's a combination there because that's where, generally speaking, sales and marketing executives, they gain their best energy when they have the option to have both. So that's great. And then I love that, it's a hybrid, so, okay, let's move on. Okay, so now that we know that there's a combination of both, telephone, Zoom, you're working from home, you're working in the office, kind of think through that. How's the telephone working for you? Is it working? Are you getting appointments? Is your team able to qualify leads effectively working from home? Are they not? This is an opportunity to look at your team, your structure. Is it working? Isn't it working? So those questions, they were there for a reason. They were there not so much so I understand who you are, but who you understand who you are, and an opportunity to think on that and shift perhaps what you're doing and how you're doing it, right? Well, starts with the leaders, right? Sales and marketing leaders. We must adjust how we lead, okay? And it's very important. There's some key critical areas that really need to be focused on. And I can't emphasize each one of these enough. However, it starts with culture, okay? Cultivate your culture. This is fun. I got this quote from ServiceNow. Sitting in the same building does not a culture make, right? Now, I'm certain with the senior professionals I have on this workshop today, we all have experienced that, right? We've been in an office and it certainly did not create the most amazing culture that you would want to, be a part of 100% of the time. So we've all had experiences where we understood where culture wasn't quite where we would want it to be, or we didn't fit in, which would perhaps create us moving to other opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. I bring that up because you're trying to build a team. You're not building a team for 6 months, or maybe you are, that could be your goal. But generally speaking, you're looking to build a team of longevity, right? No one wants to invest the cost of building a team only to have to rebuild it again. So culture is so important because if you achieve a culture where employees feel welcome, they understand the values, it shows up and they're comfortable there and they're motivated to work for you. And they then present that culture out into the marketplace. And it's just a ripple effect of success. So here's something very important to recognize. We see it, but sometimes we see it and we ignore it. There is such a wide variety of channels where our company values and the culture show up. It's how we look, how we feel, how our employees speak, what they say. It's important to really cultivate your culture from a holistic perspective, every channel, every mechanism. And it's important to find new ways, to keep employees accountable and engaged, right? So they could love the culture, they can be engaged with regard to any sort of camaraderie that may be going on within the organization, whether it's the total company or just your department. But you know what? They also could be being so good at doing all of that right, that you lose focus on holding them accountable to their job. So it's really very important to maintain accountability, especially with remote employees, sometimes out of sight, out of mind, right? You're putting out your own fires. So make certain that you have first you set clear expectations, communicate the objectives, and what are your expectations? And expectations, especially now, I've identified just over the last month, working with so many clients and colleagues, that with COVID, expectations are shifting every month, and so it's very important that you communicate the objectives and also the expectations of that employee. And then, also remote, sometimes you have a once a week, and now you're not next to them in the room next to them, or you're, the office next to them, or you don't see them in an elevator, right? So it could go a week, 2 weeks. No, if you identify an area that needs improvement with your employee, or if you feel you need to talk to your employer because you're not feeling you're doing something well and you're looking for help, don't let it sit. Course correct immediately. You know yourself, if you let something go, the light dims. That's what they say. If you let something go, the light dims. So catch it while it's sharp. Catch it while the light is bright, because that's where you'll best see and the clear identification of what needs to be corrected. Okay, manage performance. Shift to a results-oriented environment. Now, this is very interesting. I had the opportunity of doing this in an organization that I represented, and actually, Michael was involved in this with me. And what I did was I had a number of teams within the organization. So we're speaking about sales and marketing. Okay, so shift to a results-oriented environment. What does that mean? First, use clearly defined metrics and deliverables as benchmarks. What I mean by that is you could have lead qualifiers, okay? But does it really make sense, okay? It says measure both teams on revenue contribution. Does it really make sense to have the expectation of, say, 100 calls a day with 25 qualified leads? Well, yes and no. And the reason why I'm saying no, show me the money, okay? At the end of the day, a qualified lead has to be a future buyer. So if they don't buy, the revenue was not bumped up, right? So focus more. You might want to think about shifting your organization in ways that you can shift your organization to be more results oriented. In an organization, as I mentioned just a couple of moments ago, I had in that organization a support team, a service team, a sales team, and a marketing team. And traditionally, just the sales team were receiving a percentage, right, of revenue. And I thought to myself, but each one of those team members are contributing to that revenue. So why don't we shift that pool of revenue percentage profit and distribute it in accordance with what everyone is contributing? And I remember I had one gal, 1 month she had received $25 for the first time in all of her time within that organization, an extra $25. And she came into my office, and I'll never forget it. She says, Melanie, I'm so excited. I got an extra $25. This was years ago, right? And you know what? I'm not saying it's about Melanie. That was my bonus that month, to be able to see a employee, feel good about what she was doing and that she made a difference to the bottom line. When you don't tie every employee to the bottom line, they don't see the fruits. They can read them perhaps on the annual corporate report, right? Or at the annual sales or annual company meeting, or a Christmas party, holiday party, or whatever we're calling it now these days to be politically correct. But what does that mean to her? And what does that mean to him? What does that mean? A former colleague of mine used to always say, what does that mean to Susie and Joey? So it's really important to measure the team on revenue contribution, shift the organization and accountability in accordance with the contribution to revenue, okay? Quantity versus quality, but quality does not a sale make. Okay, let me look at time here. All righty. And then finally, as it says, foster innovation. We know that. Okay, last, in building a sales and marketing team, make sure your team's aligned. Okay, are they on the same page? Who are your prospects? Okay, what do they care about? How should you frame your message? And which goals are you working toward collectively? This is so important because, and actually I was with an organization, working with an organization, just kind of talking about outsourcing, business process outsourcing. And I had the opportunity of talking to a group of folks on Zoom. And the one person that was working in the marketing side of the business, she just came out and said, I don't know, I'm just given a list and this is who I call, you know. And here, that organization, a very fine organization, had it all scripted well. But what does that mean? You have to really educate your team on what the true message is, what the customer truly cares about, how to frame that, and then how are you going to work together to make it happen? Okay, there it is. So now we're going to talk about building your brand and maintaining brand loyalty. This is what we've already achieved, okay? We've got an efficient team. They're in place. Our sales and marketing teams are aligned. You're landing new business. The existing customers are feeling good. You're identifying more growth potential there. We all know the statistics there as sales and marketing executives. And if you don't, let me share with you, it's 6 times easier to gain more business from an existing customer than it is to go out there and start with a fresh future buyer, right? So low-hanging fruit, we've heard the word forever. That's what that means, right? So this is what you do now. Build your brand and maintain loyalty. What does that mean? Well, let's look at it. This is how you do it. Build your brand and maintain loyalty. How do you do it? We all know it's a changed world. That's been happening for the last 10 years, right? We've got Alexa, we've got smartphones, we've got you name it, right? The world is changing. As a matter of fact, they say what? Buy the next iPhone the day after the new one, you know, buy the last year's model the day after the new one comes in. It's so fast, you know, and it's changing constantly, and the technology is changing constantly. So we're in a changed world. Focus on the customer's success, because your customer's success is more important now than ever, because the competition is more fierce than ever before. Every market is saturated. Yes, there are niches, and we need to find those niches and capitalize on them. But overall, we are not the only one selling our product or service. And if you think so, we might want to talk about that together, okay? There's plenty of competition out there, and there is someone ready to grab your customer and your future buyer. So how do we do this? Omni-channel, okay? Matt, you said you like that word. What does it mean? It means texting, chatbot. We know what chatbot is, that virtual assist that comes at the bottom of the screen when you jump on a website. Email, right? We know social media, all the platforms there. And then live voice, right? Okay, we have to look at analytics, right? We have to predict our customers' behavior now more than ever. And anything that can happen self-service, we need to automate it, because right now we all know we have to do more with less. So we have to use technology. We have to leverage automation and make sure that it's being used effectively, appropriately, but that our customers can reach a human when one is needed. Automated solutions should learn from human interactions, okay? We know that, the algorithms. How often do you look up something and I'm trying to buy a new, I don't know, a new lamp. Before you know it, I'm going through my Facebook feed, and all these sponsored ads within 2 hours are for lamps at these different companies, right? That's what's happening. I taught on artificial intelligence for the last 12 months. The algorithms are way beyond my ability to understand, but that's what's happening. Those are your customers. That is what they're getting. Brand loyalty cannot be underestimated, okay? But what's most important is to identify what actually matters to your customer. You know, we're in an age right now where we all say, every company, oh, we've got to have virtual assistants on our website. We've got to have chat abilities. We've got to be able to text. We've got to be, okay. That's because what? It's the cool thing to do. There's a place for it. It's important. But did we ask our customer, is that what they want? Is that where they're best served, right? It's important to change your customer experience goals to reflect what actually matters to your customer. And it starts with that discovery conversation before the sale. That's where I'm tying this all together. Why? When clients and customers feel appreciated, companies realize those benefits in loyalty and increased sales. Again, like I said in the beginning, it's not rocket science. It's an opportunity this last 45 minutes, just kind of think on what we already know, right? Customers now want more from their brands, right? I want more from everything I'm buying. You want more from everything you're buying, right? I don't know about you. When I grew up as a little girl, my dad actually built a garage. I grew up on the east side of Buffalo, in Lovejoy. Many of you will know where that is. And he built a garage. And because I was the youngest of 5, I was the one who had to get out of the car to go and open the garage door, right? Well, now, if my garage door opener, the clicker that's above your on your board or wherever you've got it in your automated car today, if it doesn't open instantly, our blood immediately goes to our head, right? Zero patience. Customers now want more from their brands. That's the point there. Regardless of the technology that they choose to use, a customer needs to feel a formed relationship with the brands that they do business with. And you know, you each work for a different company. I'm making that assumption, might not be true. There may be a couple of colleagues on here that are in the same company, but you know what? You don't work for your company. You are your company, okay? So you are the brand. Everything about you, everything you do. And they can Google you, right? I can be Googled today and you'll know everything that's taken place in Melanie's world over the last, I don't know how many years. You are the brand. Okay. Let me share some real stats, and I got to pay attention to time. I got just a few more minutes, which is perfect. According to Nielsen, this is pretty cool, and I would suspect you would get it. You would already know this. We trust friends and family members' recommendations 92% of the time. We trust advertising from companies 47% of the time. We naturally trust humans more than companies and organizations. What does that mean? We naturally trust humans more than companies and organizations. You are the brand of your company. According to PwC, 59% of all consumers feel companies have lost touch with the human element of the customer experience. By humanizing a brand, you are aligning the best talent and most up-to-date technology to ensure the most seamless and convenient end-to-end experience for your customer. Remember, I talked about the whole customer journey. Starts at the discovery call right through to the end. Their service, okay? And whether they continue month by month or they're buying a product with a maintenance agreement, et cetera, et cetera. It's the entire customer journey. So the key, leverage automation and make sure your customers can reach you when needed. They can reach a human when needed. Automated solutions should learn from human interactions. So customer experience is improved, not the other way around. I know that, I don't know about you, but I've been on websites where, you know, I needed service perhaps on my, fuel bill, and I jump on the website, the chat bot comes down, the virtual assistant says, hello, this is John, can I help you? Type in the question 20 times back and forth later, I'm frustrated, right? That automation must have that predictive metrics in there where they're saying, okay, Melanie is not getting her answer. A live agent better intervene here. That's what I'm talking about. Automation being used, best used, but a human must be available at any time. And that's where outsourcing partnerships come in. I will tell you, I've had the blessing of working for and partnering with outsourcing for almost my entire career. And thriving companies outsource. I can tell you that over and over again. They recognize that it's an investment and not a cost. Outsourcing saves and grows business. And the reason why is because, everyone has skills and talents. However, we don't all have the same skills and talents. Remember, I mentioned you might be a great sales executive and might know what you want, but you might not know the right way to hire, right? That would be an opportunity to perhaps reach out to a staffing partner that could hire for you. Take that off of you so you can focus on what you do best. Find partners who are best in what you are not. That's outsourcing. That's smart outsourcing. Okay, so that's what our UI does. We humanize brands. We combine the best talent with the most recent and effective technology. This is our formula, right? We create a personalized experience within each individual interaction. We have that ability to identify through predictive analytics and metrics, how to proactively treat that customer. So the whole customer journey is seamless, building that brand, maintaining that brand for my customers. I'm sharing with you what I sell, okay? I sell outsourcing. I sell branding. I provide outsourcing representatives take over that service piece, okay? And this is how we do it. Another way we do it that is extremely successful is we're an onshore, 100% onshore. Now, I'm not sliding offshore, okay? But onshore with multiple contact centers within the US, and we serve all time zones. What does that mean? I know myself, I called for a laptop situation last week and I got somebody offshore who I couldn't understand them. There was a break in the lines, et cetera, et cetera. Hurricanes exist. And I had a client who said they had a hurricane happen and all of a sudden their offshore piece of their business, they weren't in business anymore because they just experienced a hurricane, so which was more attractive for me because they were saying, you're always there, you're on shore. That's the benefit of that, right? And then a built out infrastructure so that you can have long tenured people. That's what we have. I'm so impressed that the tenure of employees that we have in our organization, and we have a wide range of industries that I can honorably say, are experts in that industry, so we can best serve them. That's it. Thank you very much. I've left some time for questions and hopefully I'll have the answer. But you know what? This will also be an opportunity for, as I mentioned in the beginning, I always appreciate a collaborative opportunity. So if there's a question out there and somebody that's on this has an answer, I'm ready to hear it. There could be more than one answer. There could be one better, and there could be two that complement each other. So I welcome an open forum now. Any questions? And I'm happy to share any additional nugget of knowledge I may have.
Anybody? I put a little comment in there about when you mentioned outsourcing. Made a comment about ESC, my former employee, who Dan Wolf is here from ESC, an outsourced HR firm, and it is interesting you mentioned outsource whenever possible, because if you don't have the experts in house, you can probably save yourself a lot of time, money, and frustration by outsourcing things, which is something I never would have thought I'd say until I ended up having to sell outsourcing, and then of course it was my job to do so. But when you do the research and you know the history behind it, being able to lean on a third party that actually specializes in something can be a real benefit to a team for sure.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, Matt, because ESC, I was ESC's client for a long time. I'm not pitching anyone or anyone's business. I'm not, but I did have the pleasure of the
Well, go right ahead. It's okay. You can pitch all you want.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just brings back fondness. I had the pleasure of working with several individuals there. I had a full HR department Okay, I had an HR director. I had a number of employees in an HR department. However, I felt that that department, I focused on them doing what they did best. And what I didn't see, that gap that I had in that HR department, I shopped around, right? We talked about, there's a lot of competition out there. I had the opportunity to form a relationship with ESC. It worked best. And I had the pleasure of having ESC serve me for many years. And I still consider them great friends and colleagues. I just spoke to a couple of them last week, Dan. I didn't know that's where you're from. I didn't have the pleasure to meet you before. It's nice to meet you now.
Next time you come to Buffalo.
Okay, good.
If anybody's ever allowed to come back to Buffalo again.
Well, actually, I hope so. I'm coming next week.
Oh, good. That's right. You did mention that, I think.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I am. I'm flying back to New York. I still have, I reside in Southwest Florida, but I still have a property and a son there and a couple family members. So I'm coming back next week to spend some time, and I've got the whole quarantine and the testing down pat now. So
Tyson makes a comment, appreciate the perspective on brand development and creating a loyal client.
Thank you. Who did that come from?
Hold on. I am going to mute everybody.
Weird recording here.
Okay, so I muted everybody, so you'll have to unmute yourself if you want to speak. But that was from Tyson Turner. Appreciate the perspective on brand development and creating a loyal client. And then actually, Jill Pollock has a question. Jill, if you just want to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask, feel free.
Okay, hi. Hi, Melanie. Thank you so much. My question is, so I'm the marketing director for Uniland Development Company, a large commercial real estate developer. And we have been proposing to the sales team that we get a chat bot on our website because we have like hours of 8:30 to 5. And what we find is that our property search partners, whether it be on LoopNet or Yardi, they're submitting their inquiries at all different times of day, but a lot of them are at night. And so they're submitting like a contact form, and then we get them in the morning, and then we ferret them out to the sales team. But we've been, met with resistance about just using a chat box. And when I heard you mention about outsourcing, I thought, well, gee, why not even take it a step further? And if we can get a human being, like somebody from ESC who we could teach them just enough to represent our products and services, say from 5 to 10 p.m., then I think that definitely puts us ahead of our competition. And it's meeting customers, when they're looking for our services or looking for information. So what's your thought about, how do I continue to, bring this up to my colleague, the director of sales?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, it's very interesting. That's exactly what I'm doing, right, as part of what I do. And I just spoke to another company in Western New York just a few weeks ago, and are aligning them for that same reason. Their marketing department gets just right what you said, 8 to 5, but then it stops, and then they have nothing until the next day. So they're looking at it. They're not getting pushback from the sales organization. They're just not servicing the customer in a timely manner. So really, Joe, it's twofold, right? So if the sales organization, why is the sales organization pushing back? Because it lends itself to having a chatbot and having somebody able to assist lends itself to better service, which what I shared in the presentation naturally allows more sales and revenue, which I'm certain the sales organization benefits from sales and revenue. I'm very familiar with Uniland. So, and actually, I believe I've met you well in the past. I recognize your name. So not expecting you to remember me, but I do know your reputation, and I'm honored to have you on the screen here. So really, education, would be key. Okay. When are you throwing it at them? This is what we need. You know, you have to, you know what, just like I say on sales have to meet their audience where they are. Okay. You're in marketing, you're head of marketing. You have to meet your audience where they are. Okay. So take a step back and do a funnel gap, right? Look at, okay, what's missing here? Why are they not receiving it? Look at your market. Your target market is the sales organization. So use just what I said about the sales organization for you. They're your customer, right? Just like I used to say in human resources, the employees are your customer. So this is just universal. We can be used universally. So identify what it is they want. What do they want? What do they need?
Right.
And how are they perceiving you? Perception's reality, right? And once you answer those questions, then you can develop a strategy on how to approach them, you know? And I always say, never cut what you can untie, right? But it also goes with, you put the shoelaces on brand new sneakers, the way it works for you. So there may be a large sales organization, which I'm very familiar with your sales organization size. So you may have to treat different members of the organization differently, right? You have the influencers, the decision makers, you know, and you can't just say, this is where it is now, this is what everybody's doing. You have to share with them, what is it going to solve for them?
Right. Yeah.
How is it going to make their job better? How is it going to put more money in their pocket? And, you know, like I said, I had a colleague that I was speaking to just a few weeks ago. They're headquartered in Western New York. They're a global firm. You know, grab my phone number there. I'd be happy to talk through it with you and help you any way I can. She did that, and we had a good time together. And I just received an email from her that she's making a little progress. So, you know, if I can share anything with you to help you be more successful, that's the reason why I'm on the screen today.
Well, thank you. And that's just actually one of several initiatives that we're trying, like you said in the beginning of presentation, how technology has really changed and we need to keep pace with that. So we're doing more, you know, videos, more vlogs. I want to make our account executives more human, which, you know, but you've got, you know, 45, almost 50 years of the way the company's been run, and they've been very successful. So they're like always a little leery of like, oh geez, what's Jill doing now? But you're right. You have to root it in science and data. And we have all the data that, you know, these are the times of day that submissions are coming in. We actually are probably going to launch the chatbot with another one of our products, which is our new co-working center downtown, because that's like a no-brainer, because, you know, that stands for innovation and that. So we're going to be launching that soon. So hopefully, if the sales team here for commercial real estate sees how the chatbot's working for Hansa, it will also help me be able to position it as better for the company as a whole. But thank you.
I always say facts are my friends. Facts are my friends. Show me, you can't deny the facts. So absolutely. And I know we're pressed for time, but you know, we can talk offline. I'll be pleased to share with you anything I can. You had mentioned something else in your response there. I want to kind of lean into. So I'll give you a call, or you give me a call. Okay. Anything else? I can't hear anybody. There you go.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, so Jill, there was a couple of comments in the chat directed to your questions, so we want to take a look at those. But I think Matt had to grab a call, so I'll wrap things up. And Melanie, thank you so very much. This was excellent. We really enjoyed your taking the time with us today from Florida, and we look forward to having you back up here next week, and hopefully down the road when we can all meet in person again, you'll be able to join us in person sometime.
Yep.
Just a quick note for everybody, our next event is January 25th, when we are going to be having a networking event that is going to be geared towards careers. So if you're looking for sales and marketing professionals to hire this year, or if you are a sales and marketing professional looking for new opportunities, this will be a great event for you to join us for. And it's 3 o'clock on Monday, January 25th. And please make a note of Melanie's contact information there. We will be sending out this recording to everyone, hopefully in the next day or two. And thank you very much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Take care, everyone.
I can't believe it. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.